Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into a concept in Arabic grammar that looks a little intimidating at first, but is actually, you'll see, beautifully simple. We're talking about the passive past tense verb, or the Fe'l Madhi Majhool. Let's break it down together and see just how logical this whole thing is.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to start on some familiar ground with the octave voice. Then we'll run into a little problem, a mystery if you will, that's going to force us to find a new solution. After that, we'll introduce a brand new hero for our sentences, learn how to build the verb itself, and then we'll wrap it all up to make sure everything really clicks.
All right, let's kick things off with something we already know pretty well, the active voice. In Arabic, we call this the Fe'l Maroof, and that name Maroof literally means known. That's a huge clue right there.
Take a look at this classic sentence. Kataba Hamidun maktuban. Hamid wrote a letter. It's simple, it's clear, and most importantly, we know exactly who did the writing. The doer, Hamid, is right there, front and center. No mystery here.
So if you break it down, every active sentence has these three main players. You've got the action, the verb itself, or al-fil. You've got the doer, the one making it happen, who we call the fa'il. And you've got the object, the thing receiving the action, the maf'ul. The key thing to remember is that in the active voice, that fa'il is always present and known.
Okay, so that's all well and good, but what happens when the situation changes? What if things get a little mysterious? Let's see what kind of problem this creates.
And this right here is the question that changes everything. I mean, what if the letter just shows up on the table and you've got no clue who wrote it? Or maybe you do know, but for whatever reason you don't want to say who it was. How do you say that a letter was written without actually naming the writer?
And you know what? Arabic grammar has this incredibly elegant solution for this exact problem. It's called the passive voice. This is our Fe'l Majhool, which, get this, literally means the unknown verb.
So the Fe'l Majhool is the special tool we pull out in these situations. Its entire job is to shift our focus. We stop caring about who did the action because maybe we don't know, or it's just not important. Instead, we focus completely on the action itself and what was done.
And here it is, the transformation. Our original sentence becomes Kutaba maktuban, a letter was written. Now whoa, hold on. Notice two huge changes right away. First off, Hamid is just gone. He's vanished from the sentence. And second, the words themselves have changed. The verb went from kataba to kutaba, and the object shifted from maktuban to maktuban. Let's find out why.
The missing doer and that new verb form are super important, but honestly, the biggest change of all happens to the object. It gets a major promotion and a brand new, very cool title. It's time to meet the new hero of the passive sentence.
And this new hero is called the Naib Fa'il, which literally translates to the deputy of the doer. How cool is that? With the original doer out of the picture, the object has to step up and take its place. It's not just a passive object anymore, it's now the star of the show. And here is the absolute key, you guys. When the object becomes the deputy doer, it doesn't just get a new name, it gets a whole new grammatical status. In the active sentence, the object maktuban was in the accusative case. But now, as the naib file, maktuban is in the nominative case, the exact same case the original doer, Hamidun, was in. It literally and grammatically takes the doer's place.
Okay, so we've got the why and the what down. Now it's time for the how. And trust me, you're going to love this part, because building the passive verb is unbelievably consistent and simple.
Okay, this is my favorite part. Remember how active past tense verbs can have a few different vowel patterns? Well, the passive voice just throws all that complexity out the window. It has only one pattern, just one. You apply the pattern, fu'ila, that's a dhamma on the first letter, a kasra on the middle letter, and that's it. You're done.
Let's just see this pattern in action because it's so satisfying. Nasala, he helped, becomes nusira, he was helped. Fahima, he understood, becomes fuhima, it was understood. Semia, he heard, becomes sumia, it was heard. See? It's the same, predictable, easy-to-apply pattern every single time. It's fantastic.
And this isn't some obscure grammar rule. It's used all the time, even at the highest levels of Arabic. Just look at this famous verse from the Quran. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam. Fasting has been prescribed for you. The verb kutiba is passive. Now, in this case, the doer, Allah, isn't mentioned out of reverence, and also because it's completely understood who the prescriber is. The focus is on the action, the prescription of fasting itself. And of course, just like any good Arabic verb, this passive form can be fully conjugated for he, they, you, we, all of them. But the great news is that all 14 of these conjugations follow that same beautifully simple root pattern we've been talking about. Once you know the base pattern, you can apply it to any pronoun you need.
Phew, okay, we have gone through a lot of ground. So now let's put everything side by side in one final recap to make these key differences totally crystal clear. This slide right here is your ultimate cheat sheet. In the active voice, the doer is known and present. In the passive, it's totally absent. Active verbs have a few patterns, the passive has just one. In active sentences, we talk about the object, the maf'ul, in the accusative case. But in passive sentences, that same word gets promoted to deputy doer, the na'ibul fa'il, and takes the nominative case. These are the four big distinctions. Now, I have to make one final really crucial point, especially for those of us who think in English. In English, it's totally normal to say the letter was written by Hamid. You can do that. But in Arabic, this is absolutely impossible. When you use the Fe'l Majhool, the doer isn't just unmentioned, it is completely and utterly removed from the sentence. Its absence is total. There is no Arabic equivalent of that by phrase.
So, there you have it. The 3 simple steps. Number 1, remove the doer. Number 2, change the verb to the fu-ila pattern. And number 3, promote the object to deputy doer by changing its case. This isn't just a grammar rule, it's a powerful tool for shifting focus. The only question left is, now that you know how, when will you use it?